And welcome, teachers. My name is Peggy from the Oxford University Press. Thank you and welcome to join us today in this raining day. Before we start, there are a few things that I would like to remind the teachers who attend this physical section today. Please mute your mobile and refrain from taking pictures or record video during the presentation. You will receive a follow-up email with the presentation slides in PDF within 10 days. Please be advised that filming and photography will be taking place at this event for promotional and archival purposes. If you need any help during this event, please reach our event staff from the Oxford University Press or the CAPS Education. We are all happy to help. So in today's section, we will explore together on how can we prepare our students to succeed in 21st century society. And also, we are very delighted to invite Katherine Ker, the co-author of Buzz and Beehive, as well as Everybody Up and Oxford Discover, our famous primary titles, to record a warm welcome video to all the teachers who join this event and watch online.
Hello, teachers in Taiwan. I'm Katherine Ker. My heart goes out to you after the recent earthquake. I hope that your friends and family are doing well. My husband Chuck and I have enjoyed meeting and working with dedicated teachers like you around Taiwan. We had the opportunity to do workshops in cities all around the country, and we really enjoyed Taiwanese food. As one of the co-authors of Beehive and Buzz, I recently met up with teachers in Ho Chi Minh City, Vietnam, and Seoul, Korea. The teachers were really engaged in hands-on activities. The teachers in Vietnam and Korea are buzzing with positive feedback as they began using our new courses. Vietnamese teachers have been impressed with how young learners can quickly learn grammar through different types of inputs: music, videos, games, and colorful images. They like how Beehive and Buzz provide opportunities for speaking. Teachers in Korea like the way Beehive and Buzz have a strong vocabulary and grammar focus while building all four skills. They find that the courses are flexible and work well with mixed ability classes. I love teaching Buzz to my students in Japan. If your teaching time is limited like mine, Buzz is a great choice. The curriculum is gently scaffolded, so my students improve easily. And since I'm teaching my students online, I use the classroom presentation tools. I can easily share the student and workbook pages, audios, videos, and online games. Beehive and Buzz provide many opportunities for students to build valuable global skills while learning English. I personally love the skills and culture lessons, which invite students to learn about a topic through the eyes of children in 2 different countries. It also teaches the skills of reading, writing, speaking, listening, and viewing. Each lesson in the course focuses on an important aspect of language learning, such as vocabulary, grammar, skills, and more. And at the end of every lesson, there's an activity called Team Up Task. Students work together in creative ways using the language they learned in that lesson. This new feature brings language to life as students use English in engaging ways. So for you as teachers, Beehive and Buzz make it easy to assess your students' progress and to prepare them for tests. You're in for a treat today. Oliver Bailey will be sharing some interesting collaboration skills that your students need to be effective and efficient learners. You'll also learn about global skills and how you can nurture them in your young learner classroom. Thank you for joining us for Taiwan Oxford Day. I am so proud of you for taking the time to learn about ways to make learning engaging for your students. I hope to meet you in the future someday. Thanks again, everyone. Have a great day.
So now I'm very pleased to introduce you the speaker of the day. Oliver Bailey is the Senior Professional Development Consultant at the Oxford University Press, a graduate of the University of Birmingham. He has taught a wide variety of students, including kindergarten, primary, secondary, and adults. In his more than 20 years of experience in publishing industry and 25 years living and working in Asia, he created and delivered so many seminars and workshops at the nation teaching conferences and organizations across Asia. He has a keen interest in use of fun, effective, and collaborative activities and educational technology in and outside of the classroom. So I'm very pleased that we can invite Ollie to present at this Oxford Day. So please join me to welcome Oliver Bailey.
Okay, so good morning everybody. Can you hear me clearly? Okay, great. So I'm going to use my teacher voice today. Because as a teacher, right, you teach young learners, so you need your hands free. I'm going to mainly use my voice today. If you can't hear me, just let me know, and I'll use the microphone. So I'm just going to get set up. So when we start our classes, of course, the first thing we want to do is just make sure everything's the way we need it. So just bear with me 1 second. How's that now? Okay, so now I only have one hand free to do the training, and that's because there's some recording going on today and I have to use the microphone. There you go, my introduction speech completely changed. So, I'm looking forward to working with you today. My name is Oliver, but everyone calls me Ollie, okay? So, only in the whole world, only my mother calls me Oliver. So if you really want my attention, you just say, Oliver, and I'll turn around, okay, and pay attention to you. And as Peggy kindly said, I work for Oxford University Press as a trainer. This is my 25th anniversary working with Oxford University Press this year, so I love working at the press, and one of the reasons is to work with teachers like yourselves. So it's great to see you here today. Thanks for coming through the rain and for giving us your time. Now, today, there are 2 sessions with a break in the middle. And our theme, our overall theme, is giving students the skills they need for future success. Now, you are all language teachers, but increasingly, there's a lot of thinking that the language classroom is the perfect place for introducing other skills to students. And that's one of our topics today, is thinking about our students and the skills they need in the future. The first session is called Cultivating Communicative Success, Collaboration Skills for Young Learners. And this session will be just under 60 minutes, then you'll have a break, okay? Now there is coffee at the back of the room, but resist the coffee for the next 55 minutes, okay? And then you'll get your break. Now, you don't need to look through the materials in your bag at the moment. We'll come to that a little bit later. OUP has kindly provided you some sample materials. Now, I want to share with you a very important piece of advice that a trainer gave me many years ago. He said, if you have a group of teachers together in the morning, if you want to make them your enemies really quickly, give them an icebreaker activity as the first thing of the day, right? So we're not going to do like a traditional icebreaker activity in that way. Instead, we are going to do an activity which I've done with young learners, okay? So this is a game or an activity which you can try in your classes. I want to try that first of all and get your reaction to it, okay? So just to start off, before we do that, my expectation and my request today is that everybody uses their knowledge. Please share your energy. Please participate as much as you can. Professional development is about learning together. We don't know all the answers. I don't know all the answers. Okay? And I live and work in Japan. My experience is from Japanese elementary schools, kindergartens, junior high schools, and I taught night school. My youngest student was in a kindergarten. My oldest student was 85. And I had to teach him functional English for travel to Antarctica because his dream was to travel to Antarctica. So it was a very unusual English for specific purposes lesson, right? Now what that means is today, when I do workshops, because I'm standing at the front and I work for the publisher, there's a tendency to think, oh, he thinks he's an expert, but you are the experts. You know your students, right? I don't know them. I haven't stepped into your classes. So everything that I say today, I hope you'll think about how you can adapt it and change it and use your knowledge. And I hope everyone will get something fresh from today. Okay, so let's go straight in, and I'm going to demonstrate an activity. So to demonstrate this activity, I need a volunteer. I need a partner. So I'll be the teacher, and I need a student to join me. Would anyone like to volunteer? Don't look at me. Don't choose me. Oh yeah, okay, great. Portia, come to the front. Please give Portia a round of applause. Thank you very much. They're giving you a very energetic round of applause because you've saved them the embarrassment. No, I thought it was pretty good. No, okay. Now Portia, everybody in your bag, right? You have 3 plastic chips. So Portia, can you grab your chips for me? Can you show me these 3 plastic chips from your bag? Thank you very much. Gentleman in the corner, perfect. So when I teach young learners, I know that you are not young learners, but when I teach young learners, my experiences with classes of 35 students or more. So whenever I ask you to do something, I'm always thinking about time management. So the most efficient way for me to do this is please show me your plastic chips. Nice and high, everybody. Great. I don't have time in a big classroom to go around. Thanks very much. Thank you. Okay, and Portia, you've got yours. Yes. Okay, now I have to use this microphone for the recording, so this is difficult. You're very kind, but you're gonna need your hands in a minute. Okay, so do you know the game rock, paper, scissors? Okay, what do we call that in Chinese? Thank you very much. Excellent pronunciation, everybody. Well done. Okay, good. So we're going to play rock, paper, scissors. Very simple activity. But take a look at the screen, and I'll outline something we're going to do. So our target language is, what color is this? It's color. Yeah, exactly. And you will be the students, and you will work in pairs. Okay? So what we will do is, we both have 3 tokens, right? I've put them in my pocket and now I can't find them. Okay, so we will have 3 tokens. Here's a token. And we will play rock, paper, scissors, okay? So for example, we might do rock, paper, scissors, 1, 2, 3. Okay, now, who won? Portia won. So she asks the question to me, and she can point at anything. What color is this? You could point it, yeah, okay?
What color is this?
Okay, it's brown. Very simple. However, because she won and I lost, I give her one of my chips. Yeah, so now she has 4 chips and I only have 2 chips. Okay, everybody, I'm a bit nervous with this audience in Taipei. Please look at me. Teachers, sorry. Let me share a classroom management technique with you, which I should have done before. Even monkeys fall from trees. Okay, so today, whenever you're doing an activity, okay, again in a big classroom, I don't have time to shout at you. As a teacher, my voice is my biggest asset. Okay, so what I will do today is when I want you to be quiet, I will just put my finger on my lips and raise my hand. And when you see me do that, you do the same thing. Okay? Let's try it together. Okay, great. And then this is called the silent signal, and it's a technique for managing large classes. Okay, so whenever you see me do that, what do? You do the same thing. Okay, great. Now are you ready to win some chips? I think so. Okay, 3, 2, 1, go. Off you go, find your partner. Okay, good. Did you enjoy that? Okay, some people will say no. And that's okay too. And actually, you know, while we were doing that, we had a question from the live stream, which is, what does a student do who wins all the chips? Right? So we talked about students who lose all their chips, but what do you do with the student with the most chips? Well, in this activity, I'm not going to let one student win all the chips in the room, right? Because as a teacher, I'm managing the activity. So I'm walking around, I'm seeing who's got chips, how many students are sitting down. And the best piece of advice when you have an activity as an experienced teacher is thinking about when to stop the activity. And when is the best time to stop? It's when the students are having the most fun, right? If they cross that line and they start to get bored, they remember, and the next time they're less interested to play the game. So managing activities and thinking about when to stop is a very important teaching technique. Now we're going to come back to this in just a moment. But what I want to do is bring us all into the same page, and I'm just going to put on the screen what we're going to talk about in this first session. And I always like to do that so that we're on the same page, right? And we can do that in our classes too. So I'd like you to read this silently to yourself, and you can read it faster than I can say it. So when you've finished reading, please give me a thumbs up, okay? When you finish reading, give me a thumbs up. Thank you. I'm looking for thumbs up. Some of you very shy with your thumbs up, like almost under the table. Thank you, good, yeah, good. Okay, excellent. Thank you. Some of you putting your thumbs up really high, that's great. All right, so the key things here are we're talking about collaboration skills in this first session. Thank you, you can put your hands down. So we're going to think about collaboration skills and why they're important and how we can do them and some ideas and tips for that. Now, before we go into thinking about these things, and at Oxford University Press, we really like to always think about why we do things, not only how we do them, because understanding the background is really important to improving our teaching skills, right? Now, before we do that, I just want to share, I have an important public service announcement for you, which is about a free club which we run for teachers around the world. So I'm just going to try a survey with you. So if you have a smartphone, why am I saying if you have a smartphone? Okay, just get out one of your smartphones, okay? So if you have a smartphone, in Taiwan, I believe everybody knows how to use QR codes, right? For Panda Express and all the food stuff. I'm going to show you a QR code, and we're going to do a quick survey on the screen. So you'll scan the QR code and just answer the question. Okay? So your question will be, are you a member of the Oxford Teachers Club? Now, if you don't know how to use a QR code, you can work with somebody next to you. I'm going to put it on the screen now with a QR code, and let's see if the survey will work. So you can scan the code, and it should take you to a page with a question. Are you a member of the Oxford Teachers Club? Then I'd like you to submit your answer. Okay, and let's just see if we can get any statistics out. If the QR code is not working for you for some reason, just let me know, but hopefully you can get to the page. Are you able to get to the page? Did you click submit? Okay, I wonder if we had some internet problems this morning. Let's see if that's going to work. Maybe it's not going to work. Well, when you're teaching a class, technology sometimes goes wrong, right? Okay. All right. Probably the answers will come through right at the end of today's session. Okay, so in lieu of that, let me ask you directly. If you're a member of the Oxford Teachers Club, please raise your hand. Okay. If you're not a member of the Oxford Teachers Club, raise your hand. If you don't know, maybe you don't remember. Okay. All right. So the key thing here is the Oxford Teachers Club is a free club for teachers around the world. Doesn't matter what level or age of students you teach. And one of the things I really like about working for OUP, we're the world's largest university press, and that means we can provide a lot of support and free materials for you. So when you get the handout after this session, it'll come in a PDF. There's a QR code there and a link. The Oxford Teachers Club, you just register with an email address and a school name, and you'll find classroom activities, worksheets, items for you to download, and my personal favorite, a webinar library, which is hundreds of recorded webinars with experts on different topics. All of these are free for you to use. We want you to focus on your teaching and delivering your lessons, so we provide that kind of support for you. And everywhere I go, about half of the teachers know about it, so I always take the opportunity to talk about it because it's just a really useful resource. Okay, I think the final kind of announcement for me before we go on to the thinking about those collaboration skills is, in your bag, you had copies of Buzz and Beehive. Okay? Now, you don't need to look through those books. If you have questions about them, you can ask the Oxford team at the stand during the break. I'm not focused on promoting those books to you today. I'm going to take my examples from these books so we can see how things work with some new materials. So this is a new multi-level course for primary learners, and I hope you'll enjoy looking through it later. So for this first session, I divided it into 4 sections, And we're going to go through those one by one. And we're going to start off by thinking, what is collaboration? Now, collaboration sounds like a very simple word, right? All English teachers know what collaboration is because we understand the vocabulary. But let's think about collaboration in terms of a bit more detail. So I'm going to put a quote on the screen for you. And this is a quote from a research paper that we recently published, which you can download. It'll be in your handout. Again, give me a thumbs up when you've finished reading. Okay, thank you. Good. Give me that thumbs up, everybody. Your thumbs are giving me positive energy. Okay, good. Okay, excellent. Okay, good. All right, now, thank you very much. Thanks. So, there's more to collaboration than just working together. Okay? So, at Oxford University Press, we have a group of experts called the Expert Panel, and they produced a research paper on this for you. And you can see they're talking about shared goals. They're talking about producing something together. They also talk about collaboration and using the strengths of each different person in the room or in the activity. And it really gets learners engaged in the learning process. So this is a deeper thinking or deeper exploration of collaboration. Now what I want you to do, because I've been talking for too long, is on your table or with somebody next to you, I'd like you to think about this activity we did at the beginning. And I want you to discuss what are the strengths and weaknesses of this activity, and based on what we just read, based on this, is this activity a good example of collaboration? Okay, so I'm just going to give you 1 minute or 2 minutes to discuss on your table. Today I want you to think, write, speak, use English, Chinese, whatever you're most comfortable with. Your time starts now. Is it a good example of collaboration? Such a good class of obedient students. Okay, all right, so I need to watch the wires. Okay, so let me have some thoughts. What did you think? Would anyone like to share their opinion about that activity? Yeah, let me just go to this lady here. Oh, well, she's standing up already, very formal.
Hi everyone, my name is Jenny. I think this game is great, and as you can practice the target language. and you get one student asks a question and one student answers. But I think I always lost in the game, so I lost all my tokens. Even my answers was right. So I think that one of the disadvantage. So maybe if my answer is right, I can win the one token back.
Okay,
Thank you.
let me ask you, Jenny. Do you think this is a good example of collaboration?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, thanks, Jenny. Give Jenny a round of applause. Now, we're all learning together today. Is there anyone who disagrees with Jenny? Okay, and that's fine, right? We're working together. Maybe share what you thought about the activity.
Okay, because I just want to mention about the shared goal, because actually when you are doing a zero game, you win or I lose, you lose or I win. It cannot be a really good example for collaboration, but it will be very exciting as an ice-breaking activity. I will remember who wins my token.
Yeah, okay. So, and thank you very much for that. So, I would say that this is not a good example of collaboration. It's a wonderful drilling activity, okay? High energy, students are repeating the language, you know, and you could listen, you can walk around, listen for pronunciation. Teachers can never be passive in activities, right? The temptation is, oh, it's a great drilling activity. Okay, sip my coffee, wait for the activity to finish, okay? But we have to be active. So this is what I would call a distraction drill. The students are so excited by the task, they've forgotten they're even studying English, right? They're enjoying themselves so much. But it's not really collaboration. There's no kind of shared product. They're not really using individual strengths. And as this lady said, at the end, you've kind of got winners and losers, right? So a great drill, but not necessarily good for collaboration skills. So what is a good example of an activity that we can do which uses collaboration skills? Well, for me, the purest kind of example is a project, right? Now, I'd like you to be honest. At your school or in your lessons, do you do project work with your students? If you do, please raise your hand. Okay, so probably about a third of the room. If you don't do projects, raise both hands. Okay. Don't worry, I don't want your money. Okay. Okay. All right. So I think it's important to think about this. Project work is often not used because it feels complicated, difficult to set up, time-consuming, right? And where I taught in Japan, each lesson was 40 minutes. How am I going to do a project in 40 minutes, right? Yesterday in Kaohsiung, there's a lady in the audience. Her class is 2 hours long. Completely different situation, right? But although our focus is not projects today, it's like the purest example of collaboration. Why? A shared goal, a product, students using different strengths, creating something together, right? And in both Beehive and Buzz, we have projects integrated into every book, and they're also downloadable with project worksheets and videos to show you how to do the project. So if you want to do projects, they're there for you. But I encourage every teacher to look again at project work because the benefits are so great for the students. But again, thinking about collaboration skills, I'm going to go on to a different question for you now. And I'm going to put it on the screen. Because the internet isn't working, I just want you to focus on the question. Okay? Sometimes teachers have to change their plans. Don't use your smartphones. We'll just go with the question. So here was our definition of collaboration. Collaboration in the young learner classroom involves learners working together with the shared goal of creating or producing something such as a poster, dialogue, story, or board game. Again, in your pairs, I want you to think about and answer this question. What skills do young learners need in order to successfully collaborate with each other? So think about when you collaborate, What kind of skills do you need to be successful? Again, on your table, just a minute or 90 seconds to start to get these ideas down. Your time starts now. Please discuss. Okay, thank you so much. Okay, now, as I was moving around, I was hearing people use terms like leadership. This is your chance to shout at your presenter. Shout out an idea. Give me another skill, somebody. Don't be shy. I can't hear you. You need to... Reasoning. When you say reasoning, do you mean like solving a problem? Is that like critical thinking, or...?
To some degree, and also kind of socially, like reasoning, understanding.
Yeah.
As they're young, kids will think emotionally when they say, oh, this is the correct answer. Another child might say, no, that's not correct, and then use emotion.
So there's emotion, there's social skills in that as well. Yeah. Yeah, we can put that in social skills. Good. Anything else? Say that again. Positivity. Oh, what, that is rarely mentioned, but the attitude you bring to collaborating is important as well. Great answer. And the lady at the back? Mastery. Ah, okay, so let's say language skills, yeah, in this particular case. Exactly right. So there are lots of different things that are happening in collaboration. And let me share with you an example of some ideas from Thailand. I was working with teachers in Thailand, and this was their word cloud. Do you see some of the words you discussed in there? Which word is the biggest? Communication. So as you know, in a word cloud, the bigger word means more people have entered that word, right? So communication, teamwork, creativity, all of these things. But there's some other very interesting ones in there, I think. Empathy, related to what the gentleman said over there, okay? Do you see any other ones here? Okay, critical thinking, for example, time management. All of these are very valuable skills, right? Now here's the big question. Do young learners have these skills? Oh, okay, some teachers going, yes. Some teachers going, No. Some teachers going, I'm looking around, I'm not sure. Okay, all right. Yeah. So they don't have all of these skills, right? Of course not. They're young learners. We can't expect them to. But these are the skills that we need for collaboration. And in our recent research paper, we kind of put it more formally like this. And you can see some examples on the screen here. Okay? Now, some of these young learners definitely don't have. Which one? Patience. They probably don't have patience, right? Yeah. Have you ever been in that situation? Of course you have, right? They don't have patience. And, you know, willingness to help and cooperate with others. The young learner's world is mainly about them, right? We know that. But these are important for collaboration in general because these things hold up collaboration. They underpin collaboration, which is really important. So this is general information about collaboration. But why would, you know, we are so busy with teaching language. Why do we want to think about collaboration for our students? Why is it important? Why should you invest your time thinking about helping them collaborate better? Well, here's an answer to that question that I'd like you to read again to yourself. And again, just give me the thumbs up when you finish reading. Okay, I am going to read this a little bit because it's so important. The key phrases for me here are, collaboration allows more learning to take place. That's what we want, is learning, language learning, right? Because learners construct their knowledge together. They're working together. In the process, they develop social, interpersonal, and intrapersonal skills. They learn about themselves, right? All really important things, right? And this makes learning more fun and memorable. So collaboration is an important global skill that serves the learner not only during school years, but also throughout life. And after the break, we'll be exploring global skills together to understand more about what those are. But for now, we're just thinking about collaboration. So these are the benefits of collaboration, but if I kind of, distill those down, you can see them here, right? All of these are important. For me, working with young learners, the one that I really, really found important was number 4, supporting mixed ability classes. Do you have, your students are different levels of ability in one class? Yeah. Of course you do, right? Every class in the world is mixed ability to some degree. And if you're teaching young learners, you might have a 7-year-old who's just come back from the US, next to a 6-year-old who barely speaks any English at all, right? So, and they may be different levels of maturity. So collaborating together is a great way to address mixed ability classes because young learners are often happy and keen to share, to work together. So another reason why it's really, really useful. We're not going to go through every single one of them, but these are good reasons why, these benefits, we want to think about collaboration. However, life is not perfect. It's not all rainbows and unicorns, as we say. So we need to acknowledge challenges, difficulties, okay? So, what is the teacher's biggest enemy? I think time, yeah? Would you agree? Yeah. So, it takes time to develop these skills amongst our children, okay? And we have to acknowledge that. Also, they don't have these skills naturally. Number 2, lack of collaboration skills, right? They just don't have them. You might have lack of language, number 4. So all of these things are challenges, right? But as teachers, you overcome challenges every day, right? This is one of the strengths of teachers. This is what you naturally do in your jobs. So I don't think these are big barriers to helping students develop their collaboration skills. But we have to acknowledge them, right? So let's bear those in mind. Now what I'm going to do is For the remaining 20 minutes, when we're focusing on collaboration, I'm going to give you 5 tips for helping to develop students' collaboration skills. Okay? I don't know how you like to learn, but if you want to write these down, just number these from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, that might help you remember. It's up to you. Okay? And then we'll go into the break. Okay? So every good trainer can feel when the audience needs coffee. Okay? And I feel that time is getting close. So, okay, maybe not for our online audience, but for the people in the room. So let's think about some general tips and activities. In the next section, after the break, we're going to do some specific activities with Buzz and Beehive. But these are general tips for collaboration. So let's go on to those. Okay. So the first tip, are you familiar with this expression? I'm sure there's a Chinese equivalent, right? What is the Chinese equivalent? Okay, I don't speak Chinese, so that sounds about right to me. Rome wasn't built in a day, okay? And a famous person added this: young learners won't change in an hour, right? Okay, so this is a famous quote from me, okay? I added that, right? But this is true. Learning is a process. So if you're going to try and develop collaboration skills, teachers, be kind to yourself. Give yourself time, right? Don't expect these students to change immediately. It's really important to think about doing things repetitively, doing it time and again, and seeing that growth over time. As some of you said earlier, young kids don't have patience. That will take them time to grow into it. So that's the first general point, very general point. But the second one, I don't know if this is controversial in Taiwan. So use the L1 if necessary. So what is the L1 here? Right, it's Chinese, right? So L1, language 1, Chinese. Where I live, it's Japanese, okay? But I am a very practical person, and that comes from having 40-minute lessons, right? Or 50-minute lessons. In a language school in Japan, that 40 minutes or 50 minutes includes outlining homework, giving homework at the end, setting up the lesson, all those kinds of things. So for me, that's so precious. So if I can use a little bit of my Japanese to make this happen, I will do so. Disclaimer, that's personal advice from me. Oxford University Press doesn't have a position on what you should do. If your school says you can't use any English, you can't use any Chinese, すいません、頭の中にちょっとぐちゃぐちゃになってるからわかんないんですけど。Okay, so I'm all confused, languages, right? So if your school says, no, you can't use any Chinese, you're employed by the school, you've got to follow their rules, right? But I think a little bit of the language can go a long way. So for example, if I see these two students are struggling, I might just go down to their level, which is really important, and use just a little bit of Chinese to get them going, and then let them get on with it. Because it's the activity that's the key, right? That's what we want, where we want the students to be successful. Okay, the next one is model collaboration. So I guess that in your classes, most of you teach by yourself. Maybe some of you have a teaching assistant, I don't know. Okay, but you are the model, right? It doesn't matter whether you're having a bad day or a good day, the students look to you to be their model, and they're watching you. So modeling collaboration, language, using the language of collaboration. Okay, let's work together. What do you think? Showing collaboration, working together with the kids, having the kind of behavior that you want to see. Now, in this carefully staged promotional classroom photo, okay, it's a perfect situation, right? The teacher looks happy, kids are all working together. That's not always reality, right? That's not the reality we face, okay? But what I like about this one is, and I know this is cheesy, you know, be the change you want to see, right? So modeling what you want the students to do is really important. Doesn't matter how bad your morning was. If you want them to collaborate with you, we need to show how that works. Okay, excuse me. So let me give you an example of modeling collaboration. Okay. Okay, so this is a chant, a good example of a chant which you can use with kids. And I even put a nice image with it. Okay, so in your classroom, I guess you use songs and chants, is that right? Okay, very quiet response. Okay, all right, give me 2 thumbs up if you use songs and chants and like doing it. Give me 1 thumb up if you use songs and chants, but you don't really like doing it yourself. That's fine, we're learning together, Okay, good. Give me a thumbs down if you never use songs or chants. Okay? Okay? Yeah, honesty, that's absolutely fine. All teachers are different in how they use songs and chants. I would argue that in a communicative language classroom for young learners, songs and chants are worth the effort, okay, even if you don't like singing. But I've put this here because simple songs and chants help us model collaboration. So this is a simple tidy up chant, okay? And it goes like this. Oh boy. Okay. You can't see my hand shaking, right? Okay. Time to clean up, everyone, everyone, everyone. Do it together, let's have fun. Let's get busy. Okay. Oh, okay, oh. Now, I didn't do that very well. I mean, I have a beautiful voice, but I didn't do it very well. I was missing something. What was I missing? No gestures, right? Gestures are the soul of a song. Okay, so here we're modeling collaboration. And this is what we call a transition chant. Okay? When you do your lesson planning, I'm sure you will do your lesson planning, right? Most teachers will have an activity, an activity, an activity, book activity, right? But how we move between those activities, the transition, is really important to plan for. So a transition chant moves you from one thing to another in your lesson. So this transition chant will come at the end of the lesson to tidy up, okay? But I want it to be fun for my students. So can you give me a gesture for time? Can you show me a gesture for time? Big gesture? Good. When we do songs or chants, I want the students to use their critical thinking. I don't want to give them the answers. Okay? So show me time. Good. Show me clean up. Wax on, wax off. Very good. Okay, good. So we got clean up. Show me clean up. Very good. Show me everyone. Yeah, teacher in Kaohsiung was. Good. Okay. How about do it together? Together. Why are people doing tigers? I don't know why tigers is relevant. Together. Yeah. Okay. Good. Together. Let's have fun. Okay. Teacher in Kaohsiung, maybe do this. Okay. Let's have fun. Yeah. Okay. And finally, let's get busy. What will we do for busy? Busy. Okay. Busy. You don't have to run in place. That's my job. Okay. Busy. So you put the gestures with the chant, and then you do the chant, okay? All right, so show me time. Oh, too slow. Show me time. Everyone. Together. Fun. Busy. Time. Okay, this is how we get students engaged in the chant mentally. Okay, so let's try it together one time, everybody, okay? Show me what you've got. Are you better than Kaohsiung? Let's see. Okay, here we go. 3, 2, 1. Time to clean up, everyone, everyone, everyone. Do it together, let's have fun, let's get busy. Congratulations on your 5 out of 10. Okay, all right. Okay, so enough with this, but this is collaboration. We're showing the students, doing some collaboration with them, getting them to tidy up together. I make a big show at the front of my class, put everything in my pencil case, get the students to help me. Can you bring me this? Can you bring me this? So simple things like this help to model collaboration for the students. But it's not only kind of modeling, it's also about modeling things like listening. So I want you to think about listening. Okay? Often in the language classroom, listening is very passive, just like it is now. You are listening to me, but it's a very passive kind of activity. When we listen, what do we really do? Okay? Because we can model listening for the students. So you be my students now, okay? Okay, everybody, what can you see on the screen? So when we listen, we use our ears. Very good. Do you use one ear? Two ears. Excellent. When we listen, what else do we do? Any ideas? Yeah. We look or we make eye contact. Right? Very good. Do we always look at the person? No, we look at them, we look away, but eye contact is important. What about this one? Conversation. When we listen, do we have is it a conversation? It's like a response. So when you're listening, and you're all good English speakers, what do? Are you silent? You might say, yes, okay, I hear you. Now, for many students, especially young learners, listening is passive. It's done to them. But we want to introduce to them the idea of active listening. So what's the last one? The body. What do you think that is? The teacher, but what does the listener do when you listen? Body language. Thank you very much. You might cross your arms, you might nod your head, you might cock your ear. Yeah? So these are all things about listening, right? And at the beginning of the year, you can start to introduce these concepts to your students using these kinds of icons, right? Or flashcards. Do you have flashcards in your classroom? A flashcard is one of the best tools any teacher can have. And most flashcards will include eyes, ears, body, etc., parts of the body. So I want to start to introduce this idea of helping the students to listen actively. What do you expect them to do? Well, let's explore with them if we can. Okay, a very, very simple technique to practice collaboration is to use worksheets. Do you use worksheets? Of course you do, right? You print out worksheets and you give them to students. So often we give a worksheet, one for each student, and the student will work quietly by themselves. But one of the simplest ways to practice cooperation is to give one worksheet to every 2 students. So these are my students. I give them one worksheet and I ask them to complete it. Here are 3 students. I might give them one worksheet and I ask them to complete it. And the students work together, right? Very, very simple. I don't have to prepare anything. I don't have to teach anything. They will help each other to do the worksheet. Okay? And I don't know how to explain it. It's just very natural. We often think of worksheets as individual, lonely activities to practice grammar. But actually, something simple like this gets the students to work together, right? Okay. So, we've just got, I think, 5 minutes left, or a few minutes left. So, 1 or 2 final techniques to share with you. This is one called likes and preferences. Likes and preferences. I've got the microphone in one hand. So, do you still have your chips? Right? They're all different colors, right? You didn't eat them, did you? This lady said no. What happened to them? Oh, you lost them. You lost the game? Okay, all right. Well, I have an alternative here, all right? So I have a box, and in this box, I have many different colored sticks. And you can buy these from Amazon or an arts and crafts store. You get like 100 for $10 or something like that in different colors. Now, when we're working with young learners, we wouldn't use chips. Too dangerous, right? Have to think about our students' safety. But something like this, a bit, difficult to eat. Right? I'm not joking. Okay. So today I've got a box, but on the screen you can see a Tupperware clear box, right? Okay, so when we do project work or before we collaborate, I want the students to think about, what are you good at? Is everyone good at the same things? No, right? So on the screen you can see a color. What color can you see? It's not a trick question. Yeah, what color? Red, purple, green, exactly. And underneath you can see some icons. What do you think they mean? Maybe coloring or drawing, speaking, and what's the one on the right? Probably writing. So before you do like a project or something where students collaborate, we want to give them time to think about their strengths. What do they want to do? So in your class, okay, you have your Tupperware box. It might be at the front, or you might go around with it. And the students choose the stick that they want to do, that they think they're good at. So a student who wants to do speaking today, they might pull a purple stick. They look through and they choose which one they want to do. So we're encouraging them to think about their strengths and preferences, right? And if you think about collaborating, when I collaborate with my colleagues at Oxford University Press, there are some things I'm good at and I naturally gravitate to. It's easier for me to take notes. I'm good at taking notes, I like it. So writing might be my strength. Now these things can change from time to time, but a nice simple way of encouraging students to think about how they like to collaborate, right? Okay, so I think the final thing for me to show is to think about language. So when you collaborate, if I'm working with somebody, what kind of language do I use? Can you think of any phrases we might use? Yeah, you could say, repeat after me if I'm a teacher, but if I'm collaborating with other kids, what might I say? I might use phrases like, what do you think? Yeah? Can you repeat that? Right? So, repeat after me, everybody. What do you think? Is that natural English? We're missing something, right? What are we missing? The secret ingredient is gesture, right? So what's a gesture for what do you think? Yeah? Okay, this one could be, I have no idea. Okay, it might be something like, what do you think? Yeah? Okay, we tend to over-exaggerate, but what do you think? Let's try it together. What do you think? What do you think? Okay, good. And let's choose another one. How about, can you repeat that? What's a gesture for that? Can you repeat that? Okay, in the UK, this means you're crazy, so don't do this, right? Can you repeat that? Let's try it together. Can you repeat that? Okay, some kind of gesture. And finally, I've got one more. Hey, it's your turn. It's your turn. Okay, very simple. So, this is the functional language of collaboration. We have to give students this language first, or they fail, right? So, one way we can do this is drilling. Now, I've only got one hand, so, okay, repeat after me. It's your turn. Okay, I want to see everybody's gestures. It's your turn. It's your turn. Very good. And this one. What do you think? What do you think? Very good. And the final one is, can you repeat that? Can you repeat that? Okay, so this is, drilling using flashcards, and it's great, but it gets very boring very quickly, right? As you can tell. So this is a quick technique that I've seen and used with other teachers. for practicing functional language with flashcards, and it's called Step Along Lines. Very simple technique. I need 4 volunteers. I don't have mugs, but I do have lesson timers. So I need 4 volunteers as quick as possible. 1 lady, 2 ladies, 3, yes, and then 1 more person. I need a 4th person. This lady here. If you could stand here at the front, that would be great. I think we've got 1, 2, the lady with the black top. Okay. So much politeness in the workshop. Okay, there we go. Okay, thanks. So very simple technique called Step Along Lines. So what I'm going to do is I've got my flashcards, and this could be from your course book or flashcards you make, and I have my students. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my students 1, 2, 1, 2. So push, you come here, look at me, good. And then 1 lady in front of there, and you guys do the same thing. Face her back, face me, face me, face me. Okay. Right, so I'm going to put my flashcard on the floor, okay? So I've got 3 flashcards. Okay, we'll just do it like this. And what I'm going to do is, to practice the language, I've got my first pair. So if you're on this side, you ask the question. If you're on this side, you give an answer. But any answer is okay. Don't worry about it too much, okay? So to demonstrate, this lady will say, "Can you repeat that?" You will answer. Then you step along. "What do you think?" Answer. "It's your turn." Answer, okay? And as soon as they start going, you guys go. And then when you get to the end, you go back. All right? Let's see what happens. Okay? Any answer's fine. Any answer's fine. Okay. Now, students, when we're talking to somebody, what do? We look at them. Yeah, exactly. Okay. All right. Let's try it. 3, 2, 1, go.
Can you repeat that? The chicken is green. Wow! What do you think? The chicken is green. It's your turn. I say the chicken is green. You should color it green.
Good. Okay. Go back. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Go back. Yeah. Okay. So now let's pause. So now, no, I like it. You've gone to the side which is answering, right? So you can switch sides. So now she's answering and she's asking the question, and then we just go again. Okay? All right, I think everybody gets the idea. So thank you very much to my volunteers there. Excellent. Okay, come and see me in the break. Okay, so a very simple activity called Step Around Lines or Step Along Lines makes learning the functional language much more interesting and interactive, and all you need is flashcards. So these are just a few simple ideas for today. We've come to the break time now, so I just want to quickly summarize what we've done. So in this first session, we thought about collaboration skills, right? Not just working together, but producing something, okay? Thinking about how we can develop these skills for the students. We looked at a couple of activities, very simple ones, just to introduce this idea of collaboration. We took a look at some benefits to collaboration, right? Improved learning, better outcomes, more engagement, those kinds of things. And we did think about some challenges as well. So what I'm going to do is just summarize the key points from this session on the screen. Okay? I think we all agree that collaboration skills are important. I hope we do, right? But collaboration skills is all kinds of different things, and our young learners don't have all of those things now. But as a language teacher, you're in a wonderful position not only to teach language, but to help the students start to develop these skills they will need when they're older. It won't be perfect, it won't be pretty, but you have these young minds right at the beginning of their careers, which is a wonderful opportunity for you as teachers. Okay? And as the third one there, developing these lifelong skills. In the world today, you can't be successful without being able to collaborate with other people. Whether you're an introvert and we like it or we don't like it, it's so important. Now, in the session after the break, we're going to look at global skills and how this fits in. And again, I'll share some activity ideas with you. But for now, I just want to finish off by saying that during the break, there is a display for you to take a look at. And if you have questions about Buzz or Beehive, please ask the Oxford team. And we also have this wonderful Instagram filter. So if you want to try using a filter to adjust your appearance, add some language to a picture, I think you can record yourself as well, okay? Put it this way, I never thought as a 51-year-old man I'd have as much fun as I did with this filter. So give it a go if you want to try it. Thanks very much, everybody. Before you go, oh, I hate to interrupt applause, but before you go, let me pass you to my colleague Peggy, and she'll just confirm for you about the break and other things. So thanks, everybody. I'll see you after the break.
Thank you, Oli. Thank you, teachers. So, we are going to have about 15 minutes break. So please back to the for section 2, 5:11. And to thank you all the teachers who joined this Oxford Day. We have offered exclusive discount in Buzz and Beehive, as well as readers and Oxford Phonics World. So please visit our book display area. Also, we have prepared some tea, coffee, and snacks. So please grab some. See you 5:11. Yeah. Thank you. second section. Thank you and welcome back. In the second section, Oli will demonstrate activities that introduce and teach global skills. Thank you and welcome back, teachers. So over to you, Oli.
Okay, thank you very much, and thank you for coming back, right? Great to see you. I know everyone's busy, right? So before we do anything else, just take 30 seconds to think back to the first session. What did we cover? I don't need any answers. Just take 30 seconds or a minute to think back to the first session, what we were talking about. Maybe take a look at your notes. We're all here to learn together. Okay, great. So I mentioned earlier we have 2 sections today. I'm going to start my timer here. So we're going to go into the second section about beyond the 4 C's. So being successful and responsible participants in 21st century society. So the first session was about collaboration skills. So thinking about those skills that students need. And we all admit that young learners don't naturally have these skills, but your classrooms are a way where we can start to introduce some of these things. So in this section, we're going to look more about global skills. So we'll explore what are global skills, what does that mean? And again, we'll look at some techniques, and this time I'll show you with some specific examples from Buzz and Beehive. So to get us going, let's go back to the abstract or the content for today. So take a look at this, and everyone knows that I will ask you to put your thumbs up when you've finished reading. Okay, thank you. Great. Excellent. Excellent. I'm training you guys. Anytime you read a passage, oh, put your thumbs up. Okay, good. Thanks very much. Okay, so first of all, the first paragraph. Okay, I'm not going to explore this idea too much, but this idea that the language classroom is actually the perfect place to explore all kinds of different skills. When I was learning French many years ago, it was purely about a black and white textbook, a teacher, and a grammar pattern. But these days, our thinking has changed about what we do in the classroom. And you know, there are some teachers who feel the language classroom should only be about language. But I'm not one of those people, okay? But I'm not trying to change minds here today. That's for you to decide. But my premise, the idea is, it is an opportunity, so what can we do, right? And we're going to explore what global skills are. So by the end of today, I will introduce 5 global skills clusters, and you will know what they all are. And for each, we will look at 1 or 2 activities you can try with your students. That's my goal. So, to do that, I've divided it into 2 sections. So the big picture. Again, as thinking teachers, we want to understand why we do things. What's the rationale? Not only follow the course book, right? Or the teacher's guide. And then we'll look at activities. So let's start with the theory, the idea. So we're going to look at the big picture first of all. And I'm going to discuss, or ask you to think about, first of all, the 4 C's. Now, some of you know what these are. Don't shout them out. Okay? So very interestingly, when I was traveling around Taipei, this is my 3rd city, in the 2 cities I've been to, about half of the audience hadn't heard of the 4 C's before, which is fine. But I just want to give you a chance to work on your table. When we talk about language teaching or skills that students need for the future, what are the 4 C's? What might they be? So on your table, I'd like you to discuss, and if you don't know what they are, just take a guess, okay? But please don't ask Mr. Google or Chat GPT, okay? I'd like you guys to think about it. Don't worry about what your answers are. Just list them up, C. What do you think they are? Your time starts now, okay? Thank you. Very good. Yeah. Okay, good. Just 1 minute. Two more. Okay. 20 seconds. Keep working. Keep working. Okay. Let's see. Hands up. What do we get? Okay, great. Okay, I heard somebody say charisma. All right, I like that. I need charisma in the 21st century, man. Right? Okay. Great guess. All right. There's a lot of guessing in the room. So, is anyone confident that they know one of these? Okay. So this lady has her hand raised. Was that involuntary or you? Okay. Okay. So just give me one. Okay.
Creativity.
Creativity. Did anyone get creativity on their paper? If you got creativity, give me a positive sign. Creativity? Yes. Okay, some of you really aggressive with that gesture. Yeah, okay. So creativity is one of these 4 C's, right? If you didn't get it, write it down. So creativity, excellent. This idea that students in the world we live in today, they need to be creative to solve problems, create new content, come up with new ideas. Very simple, but yes, creativity. Okay. Now I'm going to call somebody else, and if you get it correct on your paper, remember, give me a positive sign. Okay, who can give me one more? Okay, the lady at the back of the room.
Communication.
Communication. Did you get communication? Correct. Right? Communication. Very good. Communication. So students need these communication skills to be able to work with each other. So we've had creativity, communication. There's 2 more. Okay, can you shout out? I'm getting so tired running around. Okay. Critical thinking. Excellent. Critical thinking. No? Yes? Okay. No. Don't leave the room. It's okay. We're learning together. Good. Yeah. So we've had creativity, communication, critical thinking, and there's one more. Collaboration. Thank you very much. Yes. Yes, very good. So you've got these 4 C's, right? So these are called the 4 C's, and this idea has been around for a while. It's been in language teaching for a while now as well. But this is an important stepping stone to this idea of 21st century skills. So I've put them on the screen for you here. Okay. Can you think of a gesture for communication? Okay, some of you are like 2 ducks talking to each other in the park, yeah. Okay, communication, okay. Critical thinking. Okay, again, be careful, because that means I'm crazy. Critical thinking might be, what's the thinker? Creativity. When you have a new idea, what do you do? Yeah, it's like if it's a TV show, it's usually a light bulb appears, right? Yeah, okay. And what was the last one? Collaboration. What's a gesture for collaboration? Thank you. Yes, clasping hands together. Very good. So these are the 4 C's. And, you know, we can agree that these are valuable skills for students, right? I don't think there's any need for discussion around that. Today, we're going to talk not just about the 4 C's, but we're going to talk about global skills. So you've got 4 things on your piece of paper: critical thinking, communication, collaboration, and creativity. What I want you to think about now is, what other skills do students need to be successful and responsible participants in 21st century society? So don't think about kids, think about your job, your work, your everyday. What kind of different skills do you use in the world around you every day now, in the world that we live in? There can be many different kinds of skills, right? Okay, so again in your groups, just 1 minute, let's go beyond those 4 C's. What other kinds of skills do students need to be successful now? Your time starts now. Yeah, good. Okay, I can see a big list developing here. Is that your shopping list, or is that a different? Oh, don't worry, this is fine. So you've got... Yeah. Independence. Now, what do you mean by independence in this case? Yeah, so I think that's exactly right. There's another term that we would often use, which would be autonomy, autonomous. Yeah. So we'll touch on that later. Great. Any ideas? Interesting. Okay, so there's 3 things there. When you say response, tell me a bit more. What do you mean by response? Do you mean the student can respond, is happy to respond?
But it's something that we feel like
Okay, so in these shorter sessions, our time is very limited, obviously, but I think it's important for you guys to think about your ideas and your experience too. So I'm sorry if it feels as though we're rushing, but let's have some different ideas. Please, somebody shout out an idea. Social skills, right, social skills. Would you agree, social skills? Yeah, I mean, yeah. Now, we can say that those things have always been important, right? But at the same time, social skills continue to be an important element of society, right? That's one. Any other ideas? Motivation. Is motivation a skill? It might not be described as a skill. It's a necessary element for success, but it might not be a skill, okay? Let me share some thoughts with you that I had Some of these are from the 4 C's, some of these are other ideas. So let me just put these up on the screen. So here's another word cloud. Okay, you probably recognize some of these. So you've got, for example, technology. Did anyone talk about technology? Yes, many of you did, right? And I gave you a subtle hint when we started the activity. Yeah. Technology, critical thinking, that's one of the 4 C's in the middle. But there are some other very interesting ones here. Interpersonal skills, and also intrapersonal, so understanding oneself, right? You also have obviously speaking, listening, etc. Flexibility, teamwork, multitasking, lots of good examples here. But I think a very key idea, this was teacher generated, again a group of teachers working with me, but I also put some down as well. We've got, what did I say? Digital literacy, right? Some of you said technology, but I guess that all of your young learners can use a phone. But what does it mean to use a phone? They can swipe, they can tap, but there's a difference between using digital technology and being literate in digital technology. Digital literacy means understanding responsible use, safety, the value of technology, when to use technology, when not to use technology. So digital literacy is a big area, and we will touch on that briefly, I think, today. Some other ones, teamwork we talked about. Teamwork is a big one. Let's keep going. Autonomy. Some teachers said independence. Now, independence can mean working alone, which is a skill, but autonomy means to be, what's the word, not aggressive, but to be more self-motivated. An autonomous student will create their own word lists, find places or YouTube videos to help themselves, right? So it's not just working by yourself. I could give a student a worksheet and they go home, they do it. That's not really autonomous learning. Okay? So getting students to seek language for themselves. And problem solving, critical thinking, we've talked about that already. And creativity, another one we covered. So these are some of the kind of skills which we think students will need. And at Oxford University Press, we published a research paper recently about these global skills. And I'm going to put on the screen now for you 5 clusters. So, if you want to write these down or just make a mental note, these are the key 5 clusters to take away today. Right? And you can recognize some of them. On the top left is communication and collaboration. Top right is creativity and critical thinking. Okay. What about the one in yellow? Emotional self-regulation and well-being. Sounds very complicated. Do we think that's probably an important skill? Yeah, definitely. Okay, so during the pandemic, there's been much discussion about a lost generation of kids who lost the time to grow up in the playground, work with other kids, get dirty, sort their problems out, etc. So we'll touch on this. Digital literacy is the one in blue at the bottom. And then on your screen on the left is intercultural competence and citizenship. So these are important skills because you are teaching your students to speak English or use English. Statistically, your students, if they use English, they won't use it with native English speakers like me. They'll use it with Singaporean speakers of English, Korean speakers of English, Japanese speakers of English, just statistically. So understanding culture really helps overcome barriers to communication. So let me give you an example. So I live and work in Japan, okay? So I'm this really weird combination of British politeness and Japanese politeness. So I'm like this uber polite person who doesn't like conflict at all, right? But I work with other cultures. I have colleagues in the US or the Netherlands or whatever. If they have a problem, they'll just say it directly to me. And it really kind of takes me aback. But if I understand their culture, okay, I understand how this works. I understand the difference between our cultures. So this is why intercultural competence is really important. And a practical example, I work with my colleagues from Oxford University Press in Taiwan. Every week, I'm in Teams meetings with colleagues from Taiwan, Japan, UK, US, South Korea. We all have different cultures. And being sensitive and aware of these things is a very valuable skill, in my opinion. Okay, now, if you want to know more detail about all of these things, when you receive the handout, I think it'd be via email, it's a PDF. We have what we call a position paper. And that's been created by our expert panel. And it explains all about global skills, the rationale, some practical ideas, and so on. Again, an example of the kind of support that we want to provide you so that you can look at this at your own pace. So I'm not going to talk about the research paper particularly. What I'm going to do is, I think from the first session, we can agree that creativity and critical thinking are important. They prepare students for the world, help them to be successful communicators, useful for problem solving. What I want you to do now is I'm going to give you 3 global skills clusters. And I want you on your table to choose one of them and discuss why is this one so important for your students. So your choices are, number 1, emotional self-regulation and well-being. Number 2, intercultural competence. We kind of talked about that one already. Number 3, digital literacies. So in your table, just choose one to discuss, and I want you to think of some reasons why this is so important for students in today's society. Okay? Please begin. Okay. And teachers, I really want you to explore why is this important? Yeah? Why? Okay, everybody. All right, so raise your hand if your group chose number 3, digital literacy. Okay, great, yeah. It is definitely important. Some hands kind of going up and down. Okay, yeah, okay, good. I mentioned digital literacy a little bit before. Obviously, this idea of responsible use of technology. The world around us is so connected, right? We have to understand how technology works. Look at AI. The last year has seen an explosion of AI, right? In every element of your work. At Oxford University Press, we use Microsoft Office 365, and the Microsoft AI, I can't remember its name, is integrated into that now. So that's an example of digital literacy, where we have to understand how the technology works, but how to use it. Okay, what about number 2? Who looked at citizenship, or intercultural competence and citizenship? Okay, cool. So again, this idea that you need to understand different cultures. You also, citizenship, what's your place in society, right? What does it mean to be a member of society? Strange example from yesterday. I went to a 7-Eleven in Taipei, and they gave me a plastic bag. I had to ask for a plastic bag, and they gave me a plastic bag, and it had a little like hologram logo on it, right? And it got me thinking, oh, okay, so and the plastic is really thick, really strong. So it got me thinking about, okay, this is about being a responsible citizen in Taiwanese society, is reusing your plastic bag, thinking about how you use it, not throwing away. So simple things like recycling, etc. Okay, and what about number 1? Who looked at number 1? Right. So this is really interesting. Every city I've been to, about 80% of the audience chooses this one. But why? Yep.
Well,
So, big voice.
Sorry, just to preface this is just from my opinions.
Sure, go for it.
There's no support in any sort of academic meeting.
We're here for opinions and thoughts. Let me give you this.
Oh, thank you. Sorry, I'm pretty loud as it is anyways. I don't know, should I? Yeah, all right, yeah, for the live stream. I'm sure some people will agree with this, but when it comes to it, emotional self-regulation and well-being, well, that's kind of like that introspective sort of thing you were talking about, people looking into themselves and thinking about themselves. And it's like a saying, you know, if you want to change the world, you've got to change yourself first. If you want to make the world a better place, clean your own room, right? So that's kind of with emotional self-regulation. If you can look into yourself and make yourself understand to be a better person, then I think that helps with everything else. I think it helps with intercultural competence, digital literacies. Basically, sorry, I'm a little bit embarrassed talking about
No.
that.
Give him a round of applause. I thought that was a great answer, right?
Just to finish up, it's like building yourself up from the ground, and you will learn all these other things as you go on.
Right, and as a teacher in Kaohsiung said to me yesterday, if you don't have number 1, everything else falls apart, right? Yeah? If you don't have number 1, you're going to find it really difficult to work with other people in the digital world, or some of the other things. So, and that was a great answer, by the way, so thank you for sharing it, right? There was one other thought that we had about number 1, and I wanted to ask you to share.
We choose number 1, and we think that is really important for kids because everyone has emotions, but especially for young learners, they would not know what are emotions, and they have to learn how to react to their own emotions. And the last gentleman mentioned the emotion things is more about inner things, self-grow up. But our point is we need to prepare the young learner for the cruel society. Yeah, that's our point.
Right. So again, thank you. A great answer. Thank you. Yeah. So, I mean, we need to prepare students for a cruel society. I'm like in a Charles Dickens novel now. But that's not only a great point, but also other people's emotions. Understanding your own emotions is absolutely key, but understanding other people's emotions is really important. And again, young learners, they don't really know how to do this, but it is important in today's world. And I think this speaks very much to the importance of well-being. And that is, so in Japan, we have a real problem with high school and junior high school teachers burning out and quitting their careers really early, because they stay late preparing everything for the next day. They also have to manage all the club activities on the weekend and do all those kinds of things. So there's an element here that really interests me about looking after yourself, being kind to yourself, okay? As a young British man, men don't talk about their feelings. That's changing now, right? Teacher well-being, student well-being is really important. You can't help your kids if you're not in a good place, okay? And I know there's still some reticence or embarrassment talking about these things, but it's a really interesting area of study and knowledge for teachers. It's about your own well-being and your students. So I do suggest looking into it. Okay, right, so let's now look at some activities for these different things, okay? We've talked a lot about it, which is important to explore. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to pick up some of the clusters, not everyone, but some of the clusters, and I'm going to give you a couple of examples of things you can try in your classrooms. We're going to use ideas from Buzz and Beehive, but these are flexible, okay? And as I mentioned at the beginning, let's come at this with an open mind, okay? I'm not talking about practicing grammar here. I'm talking about getting students to think about their emotions, stuff we don't ordinarily do. But although these are important for students, thinking about these global skills and how we can teach them is also important for teachers, right? This is kind of a new area. Now, I was talking to one lady earlier who's been teaching for 30 years. What a trooper, right? What a star. But it's very easy to get in a rut. You get teaching one way. You've got activities that work, games that work, your curriculum, you do the same thing every day. And we call this fossilization, okay? Teachers can fossilize. You just do the same thing and you don't change. That's natural. But by trying different techniques, you develop yourself, your professional development. You vary your activities. You bring some interactivity into your classes. And it can be very motivating for us to try something new. So bring that spirit of adventure to some of the ideas with global skills that we're going to look at today. So again, I'm going to look at Buzz, I'm going to look at Beehive. Very quickly, Buzz and Beehive have the same approach, but Buzz is, how can I put it? Very step-by-step, very easy to follow, very teach and go. It has downloadable project activities, etc. Beehive is for students who want a bit more of a challenge, a bit of a faster syllabus, more content on the page. So I'm using a mixture of both of these things. They're like members of the same family. And again, if you want information about them, please speak to the OUP team after this session. Okay, so let's start with this one. Communication, collaboration, creativity, and critical thinking. And I'm going to start with creativity and critical thinking. So what can we do to encourage the students, right? So for these global skills clusters, I'm going to show you these green boxes. And these are the things that students can do if they're good in this area. I don't expect you to remember it or anything like that. What I'm just going to do for today is to focus on one or two ideas, and we'll explore those together, okay? So, creativity and critical thinking. These are important things, but how do we do them in the classroom? So let me start with an activity idea for you. Now, you mentioned, some of you, that you use flashcards, right? Okay. I know I work for a publishing company and we sell flashcards. Okay, but flashcards are just one of the best tools you can have in the classroom, full stop, right? So what can we do with tools we already have? If I say to a student, be creative, what happens? What? Yeah, nothing happens, right? So when we want the students to develop their creativity, we need to give them a spark, something that will help them, some guidance. And this activity will do that. So this is a technique called bisociation, B-I-S-O-C-I-A-T-I-O-N. Okay? I work for a company that makes dictionaries. I had to look this up myself. Okay? Bisociation, right? And the idea is, very simple, bisociation is putting together two things that don't normally go together, right? So, for example, on the screen you can see some words. What kind of words are they, English teachers? Oh, adjectives. Okay, great. Okay, oh, it's getting warm. Adjectives, yeah. And then you've got some items on the bottom right, some nouns, yeah? Okay, so in this activity, very simple, I would take some flashcards, okay, and I got a stack of flashcards which are adjectives, right? Then I've got a stack of flashcards which are nouns, okay? And what I'm going to do is I've shuffled these. I'm going to choose an adjective, I'm going to choose a noun, and we'll see what happens. And what I want you to do is write a sentence using these two words, okay? All right, so show me your pens. Some of you refusing to write. Okay, okay, verbal activity, yeah, oral activity. Okay, so I'm going to show you your adjective. Here we go. It's a bit difficult to see, but I'm using flashcards from Buzz, so I'll tell you what it is. Okay, write this down. Your adjective is sad. Okay, looks like a crying baby. So your adjective is sad. Okay, sad. All right. And I'm going to show you a noun. Now, don't think like a teacher, right? Oh, okay, the punctuation needs to be this, and just be free. Just see what comes out of you, okay? And your noun is turtle. Turtle. You have 1 minute to write your sentence, starting now. Yeah, don't overthink, don't overthink. Okay. All right. Don't overthink it. You've only got 30 seconds left. All right. Now, I see a creative spark over here. Is it fit for sharing? All right, okay, all right. Okay, let's see what this gentleman has. It was Ross? Ross.
The sad turtle cried as he lost the rematch to the rabbit.
Aww. Round of applause for that, I like that. The sad turtle cried. Okay, very good. All right, here's your next one. It's coming right now. 30 seconds. Your adjective is thirsty. 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 Okay? And your noun is socks. 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 30 seconds, your time starts now. Thirsty socks. What can you come up with? Surprise me, amaze me. Don't disgust me. Okay? Okay? All right. Now with very young learners, if they just write the adjectives and the nouns, I don't mind. I don't care about the punctuation, you know, simple things. Does anyone have a safe for work sentence they would like to share? No? This lady says no. Okay. Portia, what did you get? Okay, hang on just a second. Yeah.
Okay, all right. So sock A lost sight of sock B because sock B went searching for water to quench its thirst.
Okay, I think that gets a round of applause for a good sentence. Yeah, very good. Okay. Okay, good. Are you an English teacher? It feels like you're an English teacher. Okay. Now, just to move on very quickly, variations on this for higher level students. I get the students in a group to write adjectives themselves on different pieces of paper. And then they put the adjectives in one box. I get other groups of students to write down all the different nouns they know on different pieces of paper. and they put it in another box. Then a student from each group comes to the front, chooses an adjective, chooses a noun, goes back to their table. And so we've got all kinds of crazy creative writing going on in the class that we can share with other students. But the key thing here is creativity is structured. I've given them some kind of support to try new things, right? And I'm not judging them for being creative. I'm just giving them a chance to be creative with some structure. Now, if you want to, you can take this to a higher level, okay? I'm going to give you 30 seconds, and I'm going to show you some flashcards on the screen. Okay. Raise your hand if you are good at English. Yeah, I mean, these guys, I don't know, in the corner, Ross, are you? Yeah, okay. So if you are good at English, I want you to write a long sentence using all the flashcards. For everybody else, just choose 3 of the flashcards, okay? But teachers, you literally have 30 seconds because time's a ticking in this session, okay? Here we go. Your time starts now. Okay, so what can you come up with? Most of you creating something with 3 of these flashcards. Okay, so pens down. That's the end of the TOEIC test. Okay, right. Okay, so now this lady's going to share, okay? So let's listen to what she did. And you used all of the flashcards, was that right? Okay, here we go.
Okay, I ate my fries at 10 on a sailboat and puking into the bin and my shoes.
Oh, okay, good. That was creative. Round of applause. Creative, right? So, okay. And some language I'd have to explain to the students. Yeah, but exactly. Creativity. Good. So that's by association, and thank you very much for that. And take a look at your sentences, everybody. What could we then do? Swap sentences, swap papers, read each other's stories, put them together. So much that we could do creatively, right? Okay. I also want to talk about encouraging questions. So with creativity and critical thinking. So with critical thinking especially, critical thinking is about asking questions. So this is a very simple idea called the question wall. And this is some examples from around the internet of where students are asked to think of a question and they post it on the wall. And then the teacher can look at the questions and you can explore the questions together. But very importantly, many classrooms are very teacher-centered. The teacher asks the question all the time, right? Thinking about your own questions is really good critical thinking, right? So just as a simple example, Peggy in my introduction said I like to use digital tools. So I've been exploring a digital tool called Padlet. And Padlet is basically just an online notice board, okay? And the students click the blue plus button and they add like a post-it note to my board. And they can add audio, video, images, anything that they want. Now, disclaimer, this is not made by Oxford University Press, so please use at your own risk. And I'm not joking when I say, please respect any laws you have in Taiwan about students' names, emails, etc., okay? But I really like this because I can then share this kind of tool with parents, send them a link at the end of the semester. Here's all the questions we shared. Here's the amazing answers and artwork that your students did together. So it's called Padlet, and basically it's like a digital wall. There is a free version where you get 3 digital walls, but if you delete one, you can replace it with another one. Okay, and there is a paid version as well, just to be completely clear. Okay, so the question wall is one idea, but another idea for critical thinking for young learners is using pictures, right? Course books like Buzz and Beehive have these beautiful images, and we want to get maximum value from them. So how can we do that to encourage critical thinking? So if we take a look at a unit from Buzz, don't open your books. This is Wild Animals from Unit 3. Every lesson has these beautiful big images which we can use. And you can see our topic here is animals. So as teachers, how could we use this to do critical thinking in a simple way? Well, let me give you an example. Okay, everybody show me your pens. Okay, get ready to write or to put into your brain. I'm going to show you this lovely page from Buzz. Okay, and what I want you to do is I want you to make a list with your favorite animal at the top and your least favorite animal at the bottom. So I want you to rank them from number 1 all the way through to number 7. You only have 30 seconds. Go. So number 1 will be your favorite. The bottom one will be your least favorite. Think about that. Okay, some of you have finished writing. When you've finished your list, I want you to write down one question you have about any of these animals on the page. Anything is okay. One question about any of these animals. Your question might start with why, yeah? Okay, good. Okay, would somebody like to share their question? Who wrote a question about the animals? I'm hunting for questions. Oh. How fast can a dolphin swim? Is that a good question? Give her a round of applause. I like it. Excellent. Excellent. Give me one more question. Ross. Why are hippos so defensive and aggressive? So actually, if you, for older students, good critical thinking question, rank these animals in order from most dangerous to least dangerous. Which animal will be most dangerous? The hippo. Hippos kill more people every year than tigers. Okay? And it's not on here, unless it's really small, but mosquito is the most dangerous creature in terms of disease that they communicate. I wouldn't do that with young learners, but you get the picture, right? Okay, so ranking things, thinking about questions, this is all critical thinking. Doesn't have to be difficult. And all we're doing is exploiting the image on the page. Right? So I've observed many classes where what many teachers will do is just go through what's here, right? And that gets you through the lesson, but every image is a chance to do something, right? So another example of creativity and critical thinking, we talked about projects in the first session very briefly. So Buzz and Beehive have projects which are optional. You can download the project worksheets from the hub, which is where we keep all our digital materials. And to help you with projects, every project also comes with a video. So you can download a video to give the students a chance to see what they're going to do, right? So in this video, the students are going to make a block chart together. Now, before we show a video, we always ask the students to think, right? So I would always ask students questions like, how many students in the video? Where are they? What are they doing, etc. A video is a chance for thinking. Never just play a video. Okay? I don't have time to do that with you today, so let me just share with you what a project video might look like. And this is kind of visual support for students who haven't done this kind of thing before.
Here's our survey. What's your favorite toy? Teddy bear, skateboard, plane, ball. Let's ask 10 students. Hi, Tia. What's your favorite toy? Teddy bear, skateboard, plane, or ball? My favorite toy is a plane. A plane. Thanks, Tia.
Okay, I'll stop it there so you get the idea. Now, for us as teachers, that seems so simplistic. But for young learners, something to watch that shows you and gives you an idea can really save you a bit of time. So again, I want to encourage you to think about using projects in your classrooms. Okay, I could do a whole workshop on projects, and I have, because there's so much, they're just so cool. But we can't do that today. But do think about projects because they have so much value. Okay, I got 10 minutes left, so I'm going to go on and we're going to look at communication and collaboration. Just very briefly, we want these students to communicate effectively through writing, speaking, etc. Just to say that Buzz and Beehive always start with some kind of communicative activity. Now, we're all doing pair work, group work, etc. So I'm not going to talk about that more, but that's one thing that we can easily do with these kinds of materials and any materials in our classroom. Instead, I'm going to focus on intercultural competence and citizenship, right? So I'm from the UK, I live in Japan, my wife is from Taiwan, our shared language is a mixture of Japanese and English, and our kids are really confused, okay? But this is an example of where understanding different cultures is key. For example, personal relationships. My children have grown up 100% Japanese in word and character, even though I'm with them every day, right? So how can we get students to think about intercultural competence and citizenship? Well, we want them to be open and curious, and one way we can do that and help them understand and appreciate other cultures is to teach them about small c and big C culture. So if I say big C culture, what kind of things could be big C? It's that way around, big C. Big C is Christmas, for example, Easter, big cultural festivals. Everywhere in Asia, language schools do culture festivals and Christmas parties and stuff. These are the big things in the culture, right? It might be national dress. Small C culture is everyday things. These are the things that we often don't talk about or introduce to students, but they're really, really important. So small C culture might be differences between school in Taiwan and the UK. And the best way to help students see those differences, again, can be visual. So I'm going to show you just a couple of minutes of a video, and I want you to watch this video and answer these questions. Who do we see in this video? What are their jobs? What do they do? Where are they? The hint is on the screen. But look at the classroom. Is it the same or different from your classrooms in Taiwan? Okay, let me just play a minute and we'll meet Ambi.
Let's watch the video. Yes, great. What is it about? It's about school. It's time for school in the UK. Okay, let's watch. My name's Avi. I'm from the UK. Here's my school. This is my teacher. And this is my classroom. The desks are white. The chairs are yellow, red, orange, green, grey, and purple. This is my teacher and the students in my class. These are my friends. This is the playground. Let's play. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Okay, I'm going to stop there. So, obviously the language point here is colors, right? So there's language, but this dual use idea, the idea that we can use these videos to introduce different cultures. In Buzz and Beehive, we have lots of videos with different cultures. This one is about the UK. So were there any similarities or differences you noticed from schools in Taiwan? What was something that was different? The playground space was bigger? Okay, I wouldn't have thought of that. Anything else? In Taiwan, every student has their own desk, right? So students have their own desks. In this school, it was like a circular table, right? A shared space, Ross. Like nested tables together, yeah, yeah. And what about the uniform? Was it the same or different? Different. So I'm just exploring some questions with you here, but I'm raising your consciousness about, are we all the same? No, some things are the same and some things are different. So you've got these beautiful, beautiful videos which you can download and use to do comparative culture, everyday things, right? This is very interesting for students once they understand what you want them to do. So I've got on my timer 5 minutes. Okay, the Oxford team is starting to sweat now, but I've got five minutes on my timer. And I want to get to kind of a really one that's key, because many of you you talked about emotional self-regulation, well-being. To me, this is such an important one, but we rarely do anything with this in our classes, right? So what can we do with this idea? We're going to think about helping students recognize their emotions so they can deal with themselves, but also work with the cruel world outside, as we heard earlier, yeah? And find healthy strategies. So here's a simple idea for you. It's an emotions poster. All you need is a piece of paper for the student, piece of A4, and at the bottom of the paper, you ask them to write an emotion. For example, today, I want you to write happy, right? Don't worry about it. You don't have to do it, but as example, your homework is you write happy, and I want you to go home and I want you to draw what makes you happy. And then come to the class the next day and we'll look at your pictures together. Okay, so maybe for some students or a student, it might be something like this. Okay, cows and grass makes this student happy. As an Englishman, this makes me quite emotional, actually. Yeah. Okay, I miss the grass in the UK. But yeah, what makes me happy is the village my mum lives in, and the green and the big hills. Every student will be different. Do your students enjoy coloring or drawing or pasting or sticking? This is a nice, simple idea to get them to think about what makes them happy. Bring it back to the classroom, stick it on the wall, explore it together, discuss it. And as your students get older, what makes you sad? What makes you angry, right? So there's language, but there's also exploring emotions. It's okay to talk about emotions, to understand about emotions. So another simple idea is greetings. So during the break, and when you came in this morning, I spent a lot of time going around the desks and saying hi to people, what's your name, why are you here, how's your day, okay? I'm not doing that because I'm a nice person. I'm doing that because I want you to feel welcome and safe and happy, right? I am a nice person, okay? But there's increasing research that if we greet students by name when they come in the door and we ask them, how are you doing, how are you feeling, high five, their focus improves, they tend to be more serious in the classroom, etc. So a nice idea here is, this is difficult to see for you guys, but this is the emotions poster from Buzz, right? In many cultures, it's not okay to touch a student, like a high five or anything else. So as the student comes in, hey Jim, how are you feeling? Thirsty. Oh, okay, let me get right on that. Or how are you feeling? Afraid, hot, happy, sad. Okay, and in they come. Very useful because now I get a picture of my students. Okay, Jim's having a bad day. I'm just going to keep an eye on that, right? And again, teaching the students that it's okay to have emotions, it's okay to share emotions with the teacher. And that's valuable for me as an educator. So, I've just received the Time's Up signal from Oxford. But because this is my last day and I'm really cheeky, okay, and I know you guys have to go, I do just want to comment on the stories, right? One of the things that we can talk about is empathy. Empathy, understanding other people's emotions. You can't teach empathy, okay? But through literature and stories, students can understand another person's perspective. So this is a very famous story, and it's in Buzz and Beehive, okay? And we also have a video for this. So as you watch this, what emotions is the shoemaker feeling? How does she feel?
This is the shoemaker.
Oh no, there are a lot of shoes.
Oh, she's tired. Poor shoemaker.
Oh.
Okay, all right, sorry about that. But we have these illustrated stories which are in the page, but also downloadable kind of videos for these stories. And stories are a great way to empathize with other people. So one final technique to share with you today is that there's a very good activity called In Their Shoes, where you take a story and you get the students to think about the people in the story. So if you Google graphic organizers for language learning, you might come across something like this. And this is a graphic organizer where we ask the students to think about this character. How does she feel? What is she thinking? What are her emotions? And if you have higher level students, what is she feeling? What is she afraid of? What are her hopes and goals? So this is called In Their Shoes. And as I say, we know that literature and stories is one way that we as human beings learn to understand what other people are feeling and communicating and so on. Now, I have run out of time, so let me just remind you of these 5 global skills clusters today. So I hope when you walk out today, you will remember that we took the opportunity to think about communication and collaboration, the 4 C's. We discussed intercultural competence and citizenship, and we've looked at the end there, some ideas for emotional self-regulation and well-being and how important that can be. So if you'd like more information about the global skills, when you receive the handout, there'll be a link to take a look at the global skills position paper. So all that remains for me is just to summarize the main points of this session, and you can see them there on the screen. Lots of opportunities in our classes to think about these global skills and to start students engaging with them, beginning to develop these different skills as they get older, which will be essential for them when they grow up. And finally, this idea that some of these activities like bisociation and structuring creativity don't have to be difficult. They don't have to be challenging. We've got the tools, and you have the experience and energy to practice these things with your students. So, thank you very much, everybody, for today. And if you'd like to learn more or have another opportunity to join us for professional development, it's my pleasure to recommend the LTOC conference to you. LTOC is English Language Teaching Online Conference. We run it every year. It's complimentary. It doesn't cost anything. Every year we have about 25,000 teachers who attend over these 3 days. And every day has different webinars by experts in different fields. I think day 2, the timing is best for Asia, but please do check out LTOC, and we hope to see you there. I'll put this back up in just a moment. And also, I'm going to hand over to Peggy, who's going to mention about the Oxford English Hub, which is our online place for resources and content. So over to you, Peggy.
Thank you. So teachers, we would like to thank you for joining us today. So we are now going to conducting a lucky draw. So in your welcome back, you will see the feedback form. So please complete the feedback form to enter the lucky draw. And I would like to remind you that we are going to offering all the teachers who attend today's event a 1-month trial code for the Oxford English Hub. So the Oxford English Hub is the portal you can access all your digital resources, including classroom presentation tool, online practice, all the teachers' resources if you would like to review audio, video, task, worksheets. So please check the question 6 if you would like to request the trial.
Okay, so if you got your survey, we love to have feedback about our work, so you can take the survey and hand it in. We read them all. Okay, so just as we complete that, I do just want to say thank you very much to our online teachers who joined us via the webinar today. We appreciate you having you with us. Sorry you couldn't join us in person, but it's been our pleasure to have you with us today as well. So thank you very much for joining us on the live stream, and we hope to see you again soon.